Hi, this is Jen with Modern Sages. On this episode, we are going to be sharing a portion of our live group reading that we did in October. We start out with a meditation, and then we go into collective group readings and then individual group readings. We stopped it before we got to the Q&As with those who were on the call because I feel like it was a little more personable, and sometimes it could be a little bit more vulnerable with what's being shared, and so we feel like it was important to keep that a little bit more sacred in that space there. So we are just so excited to have you listening to this group recording that we did. It was such an amazing time for us to learn and to grow and to give this a shot as to seeing if we want to be doing this in the future. So thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you enjoy this live group reading.
Welcome to Modern Sages Podcast.
I'm Jen Gilbreth.
And I'm Candace Coons.
With over 25 years combined, we have delivered messages from beyond,
explored ancient healing wisdom, and integrated these profound teachings into our everyday life.
We are passionate about creating new ways of being human in the modern age by integrating the wisdom of the past with the present and coming into remembrance of who we truly are.
Are you ready to change your relationship to life itself? If the answer is yes, your journey begins now.
So as I'm clicked record, we're going to do our alignment with Candace, and then we'll go ahead and just jump in and get started.
Wonderful. Is everyone ready? Thumbs up. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to have everybody just kind of lean back, and if you can have your back straight, but not strained, just straight. And then have your hands rest in your lap, an open position. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take 3 deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out of your mouth like this. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. And now I want you to keep your eyes closed. And I want you to notice all the different things that you hear in your environment. And whatever you hear, just give it your full attention. No resistance. And whatever it is, it's perfect. Just as it is. Now notice the different things that you smell. Just take it in. Give it all of your attention. Now notice what you see with your eyes closed. Notice if you see colors or specks of light. Whatever it is, it's perfect. Just as it is. Now notice what you taste. You may notice something that you ate earlier or drank earlier. Or maybe you don't really taste anything in particular. Just give it all of your attention. Now feel into your body. Feel if there's any tension anywhere. And if there is tension, just take a deep breath in and relax into that part of your body. Just let everything go. Now imagine a white tube of light surrounding you. This tube of light is a tube of light and love and protection. This tube of light connects you to your higher self. And below it connects you with the heart of Mother Earth, core of Mother Earth, helping you stay grounded and connected to spirit at the same time. Now focus now at your heart space and place both hands on your heart. Right over your heart chakra. And visualize a pink glowing light growing brighter and brighter, surrounding you with love and light. And now at this time, we're going to say a prayer out loud. We call upon our Creator and our guides, our spirit guides, our ancestors of light to be with us, to share this beautiful light with us, this love and this light. We ask that whatever messages come forth this evening be in alignment of our highest good, that we may receive what we need to hear in order to bring hope and healing, and to assist us to move forward in our lives in an empowered way. Remind us of who we really are, and assist us in opening our hearts to fully receive the messages and all the energy that comes forth this evening for us. We are so grateful. And we say this in the name of our beloved Om, and so it is. And now gently open your eyes. Wiggle your fingers and your toes.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Candace. I think it's such a great, just everyone feels a lot more grounded. The place is clear for these messages to come forward. And so, as Candace mentioned before, I'm going to share a little group channeling, and then Candace will do a group reading, and then we'll, whoever I'm drawn to will kind of connect into their space, of course, if they're open to that, and then deliver some messages personally, because there's so much to learn from each person that it's like, even if one person gets called on, it's so apparent to everyone else. So it's kind of fun to just allow that to be in the space. So as I've been, go ahead, Candace.
And can I mention one thing too?
Absolutely.
When Jen is talking, and also when someone is receiving a message, if you can hold space for them, if you can visualize just surrounding them with love and light as they're receiving the messages and just holding space for them, that would be really powerful because that helps increase the frequency and of the messages, and it helps the messages come in even clearer.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. As I've been preparing today, it's been interesting. I've had this light, my light has been flickering off and on, and we've had so many different things going on with technology, with lights, with everything in that aspect. And so there's just been so much high energy, high frequency. And I feel like something to acknowledge is that all of us here that are showing up, there's a reason. And I've recently been really drawn, and even what I'm experiencing right now, just connecting in, is that all of us came here to create new patterns for the future. And there are so many things that are passed down generationally, collectively. It's very easy to take on maybe a personality trait or the way that maybe your mom viewed something. And then she got that because her mom viewed something that way, and things can be passed down physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in that aspect, which is really called like generational patterns that are coming up. But I feel like a lot of us right now are being called to connect into the roots of who it is that we are. And as we're doing that, it's all about creating new space for patterns of the future, which means that we don't have to have things that our family has experienced in the past. That doesn't have to be our future. And in fact, I know that our ancestors and what like collectively they want to share before getting started with everything else is that we have this life to live, and they want to give us courage and strength to live it powerfully. They want us to fully feel what life has to offer instead of living in the shadow of what they experienced. And so knowing that, they want to provide us this space of peace, this space of love, this space of compassion, so that we can have the courage and strength to live life how we desire. And this is the time to say no more of the generational things. I get to create who I am. And there's so much beauty and so much power within that, that it really is just bubbling up to the surface for many of us. And it can feel dirty, and it can feel emotional, and it can feel draining. But just as much as going through and clearing heavy emotional things is important, experiencing fun and laughter and play is just as healing as doing the deep work. And so our ancestors, like a call from our ancestors, is that healing doesn't have to always be heavy. It doesn't have to always be dense and hard and a lot to process. It can be as simple as saying, you know what? I loved to go on bike rides when I was little, so I want to go on a bike ride today. And in fact, when we're experiencing joy, when we're experiencing a high form of frequency, we're giving ourselves permission to strengthen our energy bubble, which gives us better vitality, helps us be more connected to Mother Earth, connected to other people. And so being able to give ourselves permission to experience that joy. And a lot of us on this call, a lot of you have children, a lot of you have jobs and responsibilities, and it can be so easy to get so caught up in the day-to-day things that it's almost like our ancestors are also calling us back, saying, hey, how can you take time for you today in a way that's going to make you happy? And maybe that's going to pick up the kids in the car and listening to your favorite song, just blasting it and singing your heart out. Or maybe it's listening to some kind of murder mystery when you can on your Audible, right? There are so many different ways that we can bring joy. And it's going to look different because everyone's in different phases of life. But our ancestors want to give us a space. They want to give us a permission to say, hey, let that go. And please give yourself permission to fully embrace being human now. What we experienced in the past, it happened, and the energy is here, but that doesn't need to be your future. And they want to really relay that so strongly, to give space to know that your healing is valuable and what you're doing is making a difference. But also, it's okay to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of spunk, a little bit of excitement and joy in life, because that's what we came here to experience. And I think with that, I think we'll move into Candace's space right now. Are you ready, Candace?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, it's been interesting. It feels like you and I have been getting these messages all day about the importance of generational healing right now. And I think it's because we're moving into a higher frequency collectively. And so those things that are locked in our DNA, that coding that's locked in our DNA is being called to be released right now. So that way we can move into our remembrance and more of a heart-centered life. Because a lot of times when there's a generational blocks or things that have been passed down, it gets lodged in our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plexus. And when the energy and the Kundalini is trying to rise into this heart space, which is the Christ consciousness, the energy where you share in that brotherhood and sisterhood energy and prosperity and abundance and all the things that we want to draw into our lives, in order for that energy to be wide open in your heart, you have to clear out those blocks that are in those lower chakras. And so this is what I just keep getting pulled in that direction too. You and I both just keep getting pulled. We're like, oh man, all week, all day, it's been screaming at us. These ancestors have been coming through. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you so much, Jen, for bringing that up. I went ahead and forwarded you the first 4 cards that I pulled. And then I just pulled 4 more. I'm just going to take a quick picture of this. And that way you can also show that next. Because this just kind of goes on a deeper level of what we're talking about. Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so we have this up on the screen here. So if you want to go ahead, and we're good to go.
Yes. So in this spread, this is a past, present, future, and overall spread. So the first one on the left is the recent past. The second one is the present. The near future is the third card. And the one on the very end on the right is the overall energy. And when I look at this, what it's telling me is that a lot of people in this space have been kind of feeling like there's been something that has been haunting them. It's kind of not necessarily a spirit, but this could also be, it could be a spirit. This could also be connected with something from your past that you really just don't want to look at. It's kind of like, I just want to kind of move forward and not look at this situation or this traumatic event or this thing that happened to me in the past. And I keep just kind of feeling like, because I'm not turning into it and not really looking at it, or maybe this also could be your shadow, like something inside of you that you don't want to just confront within yourself. It seems to just follow you around. And this is what happens when we don't confront our shadows, or we don't confront the stories we tell ourselves, those belief systems that hold us back, or maybe an event that happened in the past that we don't want to just face and heal once and for all. What ends up happening is that that particular experience or that particular feeling kind of follows you. And the most empowering thing that you can do is to turn into the shadow and to actually look at it, to actually face it, to sit with it, to give it a voice, whether by writing it down in a journal or talking to someone who has earned the right to hear your story, that has your respect, someone that you trust. And just to be able to get that out of your body, to get that out of your energetic system is a huge release. And there's something there that you need to retrieve. There's a diamond there that still has not been retrieved in you. And it's like, I'm afraid to go there. I don't really want to look at it. But the reality is if you don't, you're not going to be able to retrieve that wisdom from that particular situation into your life. And you really need to, in order to move forward. Otherwise, it's just going to keep haunting you. And a lot of times we have these fears that if we confront that shadow or we tell ourselves the truth, that it means that we're going to have to make some drastic decisions and our whole life's going to be turned upside down. And that's not the truth. The truth is that the emotions inside of you just want to be heard. They want to be seen, because the soul longs for that full experience. And no matter what that is that you're feeling, no matter what happened to you in the past or the things that may have been really difficult to go through, those situations or those feelings do not define you. They don't define who you are. You are so much bigger than that. So much bigger than that. You are spirit. You're a multidimensional being, and you're having a human experience. And you signed up to have this human experience when you had a soul and decided to come into human form. But at the same time, you are meant to feel everything. Your soul wants that full experience. And so every time that we just kind of put it on the back burner and we say, oh, I don't want to look at it, what ends up happening is that not only will the feeling haunt you and get stronger, but sometimes what will happen in life, and I call it the world of Maya, the world of dreams, we tend to like repeat those same patterns over and over again until we retrieve the wisdom, until we retrieve the diamonds from that experience. So if maybe around, I don't know, if you could take time just journaling about it and telling yourself the truth, maybe at the next new moon or full moon, maybe write on a piece of paper that this is what happened and these are the lessons that you learned, and now you release it and you feel gratitude to spirit for those lessons, and then burn it in the fire and just release it. Just kind of release the energy from you, so that way it doesn't keep like just hanging around and bugging you. In the present position, at least that's what's been happening. So that's been the recent past, and that's what's kind of led up to this present moment. There is this feeling in the present moment of feeling kind of bored with life and kind of like feeling like stimulated. And it's interesting because there's this stuff that wants to be really explored, to take things onto a different level. And there's also this feeling of like, and this has nothing to do with how busy we are in our lives. We can be super busy, but we can still be bored and unsatisfied. And so I think it's important that instead of feeling bad for feeling those feelings, just acknowledge them and say, you know what, I'm not stimulated. I feel like I need to either be pushed in some way spiritually, emotionally. I want to experience more joy, more fulfillment. And recognizing those feelings, you don't need to feel shame about it. You don't need to feel guilty about those feelings, because that is kind of the initiative. That's what creates the spark for you to take initiative to move forward or to create change in your life. So pain has purpose. No matter how it shows up in your life, it's there to create movement, to create change. But if you don't acknowledge it and you don't acknowledge where you're bored or where you're unsatisfied in your life, then it just will linger around longer. So what's coming up in the near future, this is a major arcana card. And so everyone in this group shares this soul lesson. And you did come here in this life to explore love. What causes love to grow, to be nurtured, and what causes love to kind of fall away or to break apart. This was something that you really wanted to explore. You also wanted to explore universal love, love in all of its forms, because love is such a small word when we think about all the different ways that love shows up in our lives. But so not just love in relationships, but in general, how do you cultivate more love in your life? And the only way that you can really understand this lesson is connecting in with your heart, because it's asking yourself that question. Is this something that I love? Is this something that fulfills me? Does this fill my cup? Whether it be this relationship or this friendship, partnership or job or home, environment, whatever that may be, but it's like asking that question, does this really fill me, or does this deplete me of my energy? Am I making decisions based off of love? Or am I making decisions based off of fear? Because fear shows up in many different ways. Like fear can show up in shame or guilt or feelings of obligation instead of really wanting to serve, like feelings of obligation. So really exploring this energy inside of you is going to help you get clear about where your soul tribes are too, because the more that you connect in with what really fills your cup, then you can recognize those soul tribes, those people that connect with you on that level, and you start gathering more and more of those energies into your life experience. So this is a really big card, and it's so important because it's the energy that's going to catapult you to the next level, to that next level, that frequency. Overall, you've been feeling kind of trapped. So the Eight of Swords is someone who's like, they're crying like, I don't see a way out of this situation, whether it be a relationship, a job, or whatever that may be. But the good news about this is that this is the Eight of Swords, and swords represents our thoughts, our beliefs, our mind. And if that girl on the side, you see her head facing down, if she would just turn around and look up, she would notice that there is a way out of that situation. And so when you think of the symbolism of that, if she would just look up, if she would just see things from a different perspective, she would see a way out of where she feels trapped. And so this is like the bird's eye view of your life, right? And Jen and I have talked about this a lot in our podcast, where it's so important to practice that healthy detachment at times, because it gives you this bird eye view of your life. And then you can see kind of like out of the maze. You can see how to get out of the maze of your life, how to liberate yourself or free yourself from your current situation. But when you're in the middle of the maze, you can't see a way out. So it's important to practice meditation. It's important to connect with spirit. It's important to ask for help from spirit, so that way spirit can deliver messages to support you, or maybe insight of how to come out of that situation, maybe through, I don't know, a prompting from a friend who felt like they had to tell you something, or maybe a song you heard on the radio. Just be really, really ready to receive that lesson, like once, or that message or that answer, once you ask spirit for that support. Because lots of times we ask and ask, but then we forget to listen. We forget to look and see, and to really take in what is around us, because spirit is talking to you no matter what. So whatever is happening at this time, just know that there is a way out. It's just about shifting your perspective. So that's what I have so far, Jen.
I'm going to pull up the next set of cards.
Yes, unless you feel like you would like to add something that came to you before I move forward.
I lost my, okay, here we are. No, as I'm connecting in, I just feel like there's so much, our ancestors are just so drawn. They're just like, yes, this is exactly what we want to bring forward. And like knowing that there's so much more of a way out, that we're not here just to be here. We're here to experience life, but it can be easy to get stuck, and it can be easy to get nervous, or to get worried, or to get disheartened about what's going on. And like the last thing our ancestors want us to feel is disheartened, but they know it's part of the human experience. And so they're not making us wrong for feeling that way, but they also want us to be comforted and loved and supported in that space. And I actually feel like I want to bring in some people's ancestors for just a moment, if that's okay with you, Candace.
Yes.
Okay, Susan, are you open for me to connect into your ancestors?
I am.
You?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it was like right when you pulled up, like you came into the space, like your name popped up and it was like, whew, like so
I've
much
had the
stuff.
top of it. I have been looking forward to this, and so I had a weird day, so I'm really anxious and I'm not surprised. I just knew this was gonna happen. I'm like, she's gonna call me first.
I love it. And even like in meditation, like your name was just like Susan, you got to click on Susan. So it's so interesting because as I'm connecting in, let me say this for a minute. All of a sudden, something else sideswiped me that I wasn't prepared for. Okay, this isn't for you, but this is for someone else. There's a younger male here that's like, seriously, since maybe this is for you, but since we got on, I just keep smelling these dirty socks, like the worst smell of dirty socks. And I'm like, I don't know why I keep feeling this, but it's like this younger male that's like teasing me, but he has such a strong personality. So we'll connect in to see what that is. But as I'm even connecting into your space, Susan, like all of a sudden it's like, whoosh, this energy is like, but I'm here, don't forget about me. I'm like, I won't forget about you, I promise. But I'm like, if you could stop making me smell dirty socks, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. I would love it. But Susan, as I'm pulling into your space, even getting started, I was so drawn to the right side on my space, which typically is the mom's lineage, the mom side of the family. And I feel like there's 3 females connected to you on your mom's side of the family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And one of them is pulling me to the moon that you have on the wall behind you.
I do have a moon.
Yeah, she's one of them. So they're pointing to the moon on the wall. And so I want to stay with that and see what's being in that space. Because there's 3 of them coming forward, and I feel like they all are quite talkative. They have a lot of personality, a lot of things to share. And so I'm like, okay, who wants to come forward? Because they could all talk to you for hours and hours and hours. But
Yeah.
we just want to bring in one or two here. Does I just feel like there's a space. Does Cancer run in your mom's side of the family?
More on my dad's side, but yes,
On that side.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're coming up, and all of a sudden, like the word cancer in red is like popping up really strong.
Very prevalent.
On your dad's side.
Yes, but some on my mom's side.
And have you had this fear that that's gonna come into your space, or that you're gonna have to deal with that? Like, are you almost like preparing yourself to deal with it?
100%. I've spoken into existence. I can't even tell you. Yes. I'm like, well, this is what's going to kill me. Like, you have that fear. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So your grandma on mom's side's passed, correct? Yeah. And I feel like she's just got kind of more of this fiery personality where she'll put you in your place if she needs to. But she's very loving and very supportive and very kind in that same space. But I feel like she wants to say, stop with the fear. Like, it doesn't have to be your story. And just because it's been in the family line, she says that even if you do get it, which she's not saying that you will, like, that doesn't have to be in your space. But she says, but you don't have to have the same outcome as anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I see her saying that same thing going back to the moon. And then she takes me into like this galaxy, and she says, like, you're far more infinite, and who you are is a creator of the stars, is a creator of the moon. And knowing that your words have power and your thoughts have power. And so I just see her saying, like, I want to just support you in any way that I can. And she says on her side of the family, it's so easy to worry. It's easy to overthink things or be like, oh, did I say that right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. They're going to hate me. And like, almost like put yourself in a hole. And she's trying to help like give you a ladder to allow you to climb back out and cover up the hole and say like that doesn't have to be a patterning in which you have to live in. And she says that when it comes to the Cancer as well. And she says, like, you have so much love and so much compassion and so much joy, and you give so much.
And she says, but it's okay to receive. You have to receive. If you don't receive, you're going to be depleted. And when you're depleted, your energy goes down. All the nerves in your system get shot, and then you slow down, and then you get sick.
Okay, so right. I mean, I just said that to myself earlier. I'm like, I'm so fatigued. And it's something restless in my spirit. I'm not allowing myself that time to recharge and just kind of rest. I think that's true for many of us as moms and women who work and that sort of thing. But it's funny she's saying that because I'm a nurse. So I do give every day. I give a huge piece of myself.
Absolutely.
I think that you're tired when you come home and you've given so much to your patients and to calm their fears and to make them feel safe. And then you come home and you're like I'm over, want to be in bed at 7:00. And Candace's mom and I were laughing about that earlier. I'm like, I don't know if I could stay up long enough for the thing. And like, you have to stay up. I'm like, do I have to be cute? She said, no, you don't have to be cute.
Sometimes you are.
Yeah.
One of your patients today, were you working with an older honorary gentleman?
I work with a lot of them, but I did have an older honorary gentleman today. Yeah.
Like extremely over the top. Like, it's like, man, nothing I can do can help you. You're just so angry, and like kind of him like wanting to be done. Like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense with you?
Yeah. He was fussy. Yes, we'll put it that way.
Because I feel like there is, I don't know if this would be a wife, but there's a female energy coming in connected to him and wanting to thank you for like putting up with him, especially today. It's almost like you never know what you're going to get.
Oh, for sure.
I see her just wanting to acknowledge that like what you're doing is making a difference, and you're bringing so much peace to people. And not only that, you're helping welcome people's ancestors into the space to bring healing as well. And so I see her saying like that what you do is powerful and important. So the next time you feel like, oh, am I making a difference? Am I really doing what I'm supposed to? This other lady wants to just come in and say, you're helping heal generations.
That's
and you're
nice.
helping clear things. And so she just wants to acknowledge that. And then I see grandma like, excuse me, I'm talking. And she just says, I want to let you know that I love you and I care for you. And part of my language, but she's like, and this cancer bullshit, you got to let it go. You got to let it go because it doesn't even need to be in your space. And she understands why it is. But she says, you have so much life to live. And she's so proud of how beautiful you are. And she says, every time you look at the moon, you can just remember that I'm here watching you. And I see her like slide on the moon, like the crescent moon, and like her jump off and like float into the sky is what it looks like, of just this playful, outgoing space that she has. And that you have that as well. And so she wants to help like send these energy bursts into your space so that you can be replenished each day and know that you have such an impact and your heart is so beautiful. And it's time to receive. It's time to get all the love that you need. Eat all the chocolate that you need maybe one night, just give yourself the space to do it.
I love
Does that make sense with you?
Yes, and I'm wondering about the moon thing. Like, so knowing my grandmother, she's pretty eccentric about things, had some belief systems that everyone thought was wackadoo, but I always feel like I connect with her. Like, I'm like, I get it. I embrace weird things, Grandma. I feel you. Her name was Lena, which is a bit like Luna. So I'm wondering if it's just that connection with her name being so close to that. I was at her grave yesterday.
Wow.
So we were talking, my sister and my siblings, we were all standing there talking about her. And I said, Grandma had secrets. I've found some paper trails just through my genealogy research. But I said, Grandma had secrets. And we had a good laugh about it. And it's just funny. He would pick today. I'm not surprised at all. But I just think it's super funny that she would pick this time to come through. And
yes,
I think about her a lot. I took up quilting of all things at this stage in my life. And she was an amazing quilter. I'm sitting on her quilt right now, and
Wow.
years old that I still use. And so I think about her when I'm cussing at the quilting, like this, and
Yeah.
how things she would be like at a rotary cutter or something so simple, so I think about her very, very often. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there something you want to add to that, Candace?
Yeah, it was Susan, when you signed up too originally, didn't like you have all of this weird electrical stuff happen?
Like the minute I sent an email this morning, and immediately I started having trouble with like internet connections. And then the fax machine at the office like said a word. I don't know what the word was, but like this word came out. You know how they do when they kind of connect through dial up? And I was like, what? And then I would hear voices, and then I heard whispering. And no, I was the only one in the office. I heard some whispers, and then our cell phones were like going off the wall crazy. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is weird, but I'm good. Like I said, I'm good with weird. And so I'm like, somebody's trying to connect with me. So I had told your mom, Candace, I'm like, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to tune into what Spirit's saying to me. So yeah.
That is so
yeah.
awesome. Yes, Susan and I are related, obviously.
All right.
I'm so excited that you're here tonight. I had a feeling too when you were coming on, like, I wonder if somebody's gonna come through.
We all have that feeling.
I want to hop on, just jump in real quick with one last thing. Is she's saying that you don't need to feel discouraged, and then she goes like this to everybody, like she's talking to everybody, like she presents herself like she's the head honcho here. And she's beautiful. But I see her wanting to acknowledge with you that she talks to you through thoughts. And it might be like, sometimes it's like, well, how do I connect in? I don't know how I'm going to hear. When you're like, I'm trying to hear, I'm trying to be connected. You're not separated from your connection to Spirit. And a lot of it comes to the natural flow of your thoughts. So you might be like, oh, I'm really thinking about this, or for some reason, this is on my mind. She is very connected to your thoughts and letting you know that's how she's there to be with you. She's like, sometimes I'll send big things, but a lot of times, even with how big of a personality she is, a lot of times she's learning it's the subtle ways that make the biggest difference. And so even just focusing on what it is that you're hearing or what thoughts you're having, it's her way of talking to you. And that could go for your dad's side, that could go for so many people, but she just wants to let you know that.
Another thing that came to my mind, Jen, is that Susan, you have gifts of Spirit.
I think so. And I want to talk to you guys about that at some point, because I've been listening to some of your podcasts and development. Like, how do I know that? How do I trust all those things you've said in these previous podcasts? Like, you guys felt that too, afraid just to take that step. And totally. I think it's Jen that said, you have to lean into it. And so I was falling asleep last night and I was having this strange dream. And I was just like, okay, Susan, like, don't wake up from this, just lean into it. And so, yes, I want to chat with you guys on a personal level about that sometime.
Well, I mean, everybody has gifts of Spirit, but I'm just saying, like, your clairaudience is super strong.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good launching pad for you. I really think that would be a good launching pad for you to really kind of tweak that.
Okay.
And then the other ones are going to open up bigger.
Yeah.
For me, dreams really is how Spirit connects or communicates with me. So, okay. I'll have to see how I'm gonna work into that. Yeah. Nice.
Well, thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that was just a short little snippet. She could go on forever. So I'm like, I'm sorry, we only have a limited time and other people want to bring things in as well.
Thank you guys.
Of course.
You're welcome.
Okay, I just want to connect in real quickly and then we'll go to your other aspect as well. Christy, are you open for a message to come forward?
Yeah.
Wait, Christy.
Which one?
Oh
Is
my
there
gosh,
more
there's
than one?
two. There's more. Okay. With a C. CH.
Okay.
Sorry, Christy. The other Christy. I didn't know there was two of us. There are two of you here.
That's me, I guess.
Yes. Are you open? Do you
Yeah.
feel like your heart's open to receiving a message?
Yeah.
Okay. All of a sudden I'm like getting this major heat, like I'm like burning up inside. It's just really hot. So as I lean into your space, I feel like there's a Mel that's really connected to you. And I feel like he was a little bit broader in the shoulders, a little bit bigger.
Could be my grandpa, my
I'm
papa.
just sitting with this for a minute. Is that on your dad's side?
No, it's on my mom's side. Well, I guess it could be my grandpa on my dad's side too.
What I'm being drawn to is the mouth and is the teeth. So I'm like looking into his smile. And I don't know if there was like something with, did one of them have missing teeth? Or had
Dentures.
like not all of his teeth were there that you can remember?
Not that I can remember.
Okay, let me sit with this for a minute. I gotta think about this. Candace, is there something coming up on your side?
No, I just saw when you were doing that, he was like, look at my nice teeth. I've got nice teeth now. And he was proud of it, but
Okay, let me just sit with this for one more second because there's something else. There's something else with this, but it's a male coming forward and he's got a bigger, let me just sit here for a sec. I just feel the energy of him, of who this is, and we'll connect him with this space, but I feel like he's just very, very bubbly, like has a good joker personality and like to tease, and was always constantly like teasing people or like pinching them or making them like giggle. And I see him like no matter what was going on, like trying to bring happiness or joy to people's space was something that he took a lot of pride in, but it was like very teasing. Does that make sense with you?
Yeah.
Would that be on your mom's side?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, this is on mom's side because he's like pointing to this side. I see him wanting to just acknowledge with you how extremely proud and how he says that you are such a warrior, that you have gone through so much. And he says, and there's so much that it's like, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I can keep, like, I just don't know why I keep feeling this way, what I'm doing. And I just see him wanting to acknowledge that, like, you are so lovable, like that you deserve to feel love. And loving yourself is such an amazing aspect of where it starts. But I just see him saying that, like, you are extremely beautiful. And your looks and who you are is absolutely perfect and it's beautiful. And he's like, don't let anyone else tell you that. Don't let anyone else make you feel bad about yourself or belittled or not important, because you have such a powerful voice that you don't have to play small. And you don't have to be worried about sharing your opinion because the world needs it. And he said that it can be easy sometimes to either use humor to try to ease tension or to maybe deflect from people knowing who you truly are. And I just see him wanting to acknowledge that, like, you are absolutely beautiful and your voice matters. And it's time to share it. It's time to step into like that warrior. And he's not even meaning like the male warrior feel, but like this goddessy warrior of like, you are powerful and you are brave and you are brilliant and your voice matters.
So it's time to share it. He's like I see him climb up a mountain, like screaming at top of the mountain, like, it's time! And wanting you to know that. Does that make sense with you?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect. Do you have any questions about any of that?
I don't think so.
And then I see him like want to go like this to you and like give you this big giant hug and just let you know that he's always here and he's always looking out. You just not even that you have to ask, but it's just knowing that you can ask for his support and feeling him around. I see him coming in that space as well and letting you know. And also in the house, just people in your house kind of feel like, have they felt like, is it harder to go to bed, or maybe it's kind of irritable sometimes in the house, like there's kind of an energy in the house? Does that make sense with you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because I see him also saying like it's good to like let the windows like air out of the house, or let the windows like bring in fresh air, or cleanse the house, clear the house, pray over the house, because you can pick up on people's energy so easily that it's like they suck into your space, and then when you come home it can be like almost released into your energy, where it's like all of a sudden everyone's moody and no one was moody all of a sudden, like it's that easy. And so kind of being aware of what energies are coming home with you, but also having some kind of ritual, whether it's like essential oils like lime, or if it's saging, or even if it's just prayer, is like clearing out that space every now and then, so that you don't feel the heaviness of everyone else, but you can stand in your power and have it like cleansed and beautiful for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, Candace, I'll turn the time back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. So yes, can you put the next picture up, and we'll go on to the last part of the reading.
Give me just a minute here. Okay, I'm almost there.
And it was had R on it.
Share the screen. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So the second part of your reading, if you look at the back at the left side, that's above the other one that we had, that something was kind of haunting or holding on onto you from the past, and it's you breaking free from that and really looking at what can liberate you and get you to move forward in an empowered way. So like we were talking about before, one of the most empowering things that you can do, instead of denying your true feelings or denying some of the stories of your past, if you can give it a space to have a voice, to express itself and to be honest and to release that, that is the first step of that liberation, of breaking free from those constraints from your past. And then it's also retrieving the wisdom, retrieving the diamonds of wisdom that you gained from that experience. That helps you move forward. And in the present position, it's knowing that the way to inner peace, really, it has nothing to do with anything on the outside. And one of the most liberating, freeing lessons that we can learn is that when we connect in with who we really are, and we connect in with our true essence, and we understand that our past doesn't define us and our emotions don't define us, it's just an experience, then we connect not only with who we are, but then we start to reconnect into our true power, because we realize when we are connected to the power of infinite power, that we are children of the infinite creator. And there is nothing that is more powerful than that. So when you connect in with that power, then you know that you have the choice to create the life that you really want to live, that your life can be joyous, that your life can be beautiful, that your life can be peaceful. And really being present and practicing the mindfulness practice and coming into remembrance of who you are, a lot of times you can say in that moment, you can feel that peace and say, okay, well, in this moment, I'm not experiencing those things that I experienced in the past. In this moment, I'm at peace. In this moment, I know who I am. And even though I had these feelings or I had these intense feelings, those don't define me. I know who I am. And then you can connect in with your personal power and your personal peace. The other thing that's coming up in the near future that Spirit wants you to know is that you are safe. So these feelings that you may have that you're not safe, like you're worried that maybe your place is haunted, or that your that you're worried it may be robbed, or something bad may happen, or something may happen to your family members or you or whatever. Spirit wants you to know that you are completely safe and that you are completely protected. That those are just some of the internal shadows that you're working through right now. And to know that you are safe is really, really important. So just visualize that the angels are around you, that they're protecting you, that you have the love of your ancestors around you, that they're watching after you and watching after your loved ones, and that everything is going to be okay. Overall, and the overall card, that peace of mind again is just be at peace knowing that even though things happened in the past and they were experiences that you've had in the past, doesn't mean that that needs to define what your future is going to be like. That you really can come back into remembrance, create a vision of that which you want to create for yourself. Ask for support, ask for your angels and your guides to assist you on bringing those things to your life. Really get clear about what your heart really, really wants by being completely honest with yourself. And then all you have to do is open your arms and receive that which is coming to you and just say yes. So just be open, keep your eyes open, keep your awareness open, and be at peace knowing that you are surrounded by angels and everything is going to be okay.
And can I add to that?
Yes.
Is I'm also being drawn to the feeling safe. Is I feel like all of us are being called to know that connecting to our ancestors, connecting to our spiritual gifts, and connecting to our heart center is safe.
Yes.
Because in a world where it seems so vulnerable for us to kind of go against the grain or go to step outside of the box, like our spirits and our hearts are being called into that space, like all of us in this group, and knowing that it's safe for us to do that. Yeah. That we're not going to lose ourselves in, maybe some are worried about the foo-foo lala or the woo or disconnecting from God, because ultimately all of that is in the same space. It's all connected. It's no different. And when we can know that, like, our spirit is going to tell us what we're drawn to, and that might be we're drawn to it for a moment, and then all of a sudden we're like, I don't really feel that anymore. That's not what I'm passionate about. But it's like giving ourselves permission to know that we are safe. And it's so interesting because even seeing the castles in the background of that, it just is like showing me like the castles of heaven, like the royalty that we come from, and how they want to help us fully have that have that space so that we can live that truth and live that power. And like we can call upon them for guidance, for help, for all of those things. Like they want to be here with us, guiding us. Yes. And so I feel like I was really drawn to that as well.
Yes. And to add to what you're saying is, like, if you go back to the major arcana card, which is the love card, this feeling safe too is very connected to your heart. And like you're saying, it's safe to be loved. It's safe to love. I feel like it's so interesting because we can feel unsatisfied in our relationships, whether because we feel like they lack intimacy or whatever we feel, whatever way we're not feeling that satisfaction in our relationships. And yet, if we're really, really honest with ourselves, we're afraid of the very thing that we long for.
Yep.
So I feel like that is really too what that's really connected. And that's why it's above that love card, because it's about really recognizing that it is safe for you to give love and to receive love without limitations. And that if there's any concept in our minds or in our hearts where we hold back, where we're afraid to bond with another, truly, it's because there's a shadow there. There's something there that we're battling with, feeling that either we don't deserve it or we're not worthy of it, or that somehow our heart will be broken and we'll never be the same, or whatever those beliefs are that we're holding within us. And this also brings me back to the possible generational wounding, because when we hold those generational blocks in our root chakra, and when you're in the womb, that is the first chakra that is developed in the fetus, is that root chakra. So the things that are passed down to us are passed and lodged right in that root chakra space. And the next chakra that's developed is the sacral chakra. And some of that information is passed on into the sacral. And the sacral is not only about our sexuality or sensuality or creativity, but it's also about how we bond, how we connect with others. And if there is wounding from the generations that have been passed down, where there's this fear of true connection, like soul tribes, soul to soul connections, whether that be in your relationship or friendships or whatever, then sometimes that is caused by those generational wounds. And then we have these certain experiences or stories or things that happened in our past that maybe reaffirm that in our minds, as see, it's not totally safe. You kind of need to keep yourself a little guarded, or you just have to do what's right, or get into the energies of obligation. So I really ask that everybody in this group to really reflect on those things and say, is there generational patterns here when it comes to love relationships and not feeling safe? And if you're feeling that way, even if they didn't feel particularly that way, maybe your mother, your grandmother, or whatever, maybe because you witnessed something when you were young where there was hurt, you were afraid to fully give. Or there's something here I feel like needs to be healed. That's what that feels like to me too, as well. But the way that we break free, the way that we heal this, is first to come back into the remembrance of who you are, and to connect with spirit inside of you, to connect with your heart space, and then recognize those wounds and just bring awareness, because that is the first step to healing, is just bringing awareness to things, just recognizing it, noticing there's patterns, or noticing the shadow that's inside of you. And then after that, once you become aware of it, then you can say, what did I collect from this? What did I collect as far as the wisdom through this belief system? Even if it's the wisdom as well, it holds me back. It holds me back from really opening up my heart. It could be just that, or it could be other things as well. And then at that point, then you're ready to move into gratitude, because once you're able to recognize what you learned from that, then you move into gratitude. And then that's when you write things down and you can burn it and release it, or you can just thank God and thank spirit and thank angels for bringing this awareness to you. And then you can break free from that cycle. And then you can start choosing into other patterns and say, you know what, I used to do this because I was afraid, or I didn't quite open my heart enough. But now, because I recognize that patterning inside of me and I've released that, I choose into love. I choose into what my heart really wants. And I know it's safe for me to fully feel love, to receive love, to give love, to be surrounded by my soul tribe. All of these things are possible. So that's just some of the things that came through too, like as you were talking, and then also seeing that card again and reminding myself, oh my gosh, that's over that major arcana.
That's beautiful. And that is so like on key, even with what we've learned with having Susan's information and Christy's information. It's like there's so much self-love, and it's like when we can love ourselves, when we can give ourselves time to be intimate with ourselves. And that's like really diving deep. It's really feeling the emotions. It's really being aware of these things. It gives us the freedom and the space to allow other people in. But if we're worried to go there ourselves, we're not going to want anyone else to go there. So we're going to hold ourselves back from experiencing that love, because we're afraid of what someone else is going to find, because we're afraid of what we're going to find. And I myself am included in all of that, right? That doesn't mean that if we're bringing this in, it's like, oh, we're masters at this. Like, no, we're all learning and growing. And to the day that we pass, all of us are going to be learning and growing. But it's like our ancestors are really wanting to help us say, like, hey, like in real truth, what do we want to experience here? And where are we holding ourselves back because of fear of what we'll find?
Yes.
Because nothing is bad or wrong with us. Being human is not unholy. Us experiencing emotion, us experiencing pain, us experiencing pleasure is part of this human experience, but we hold ourselves back because we're afraid of it. And that's okay too. That's part of the curve. Like even today, me and Candace were like, we've never done this together. And Candace says, I've done a couple group readings like this, but Candace like, I haven't done something with this large of a group. And instead of being like, I'm not going to do it, it's like, let's just give it a try and see how we like it. Let's just give it a go because we came here to explore and to play and to jive in the world. And if we're holding ourselves back because we're so afraid, it's really important to look back and see, am I holding on to a generational pattern? Am I holding on to something that maybe is 2 generations back that's not even my own? And being able to move forward in that space as well, which is a lot easier said than done. I totally get it. But our ancestors are calling us into this space, beckoning us back into this heart center and saying, you're loved, you're valued, you are important, and you're safe. So why not? Why not cherish it? Why not do it? Why not experience it all? Because we're going to experience it one way or another. So we could welcome it in and learn, or we could experience it stubbornly because we're going to experience it one way or another.
Yes. So we have like about 20 more minutes to this call. So if I don't know, Jen, would it be okay with you if we kind of just see if anyone would like to ask us any questions?
Yes. Can I just add one thing real quickly?
Yes.
Okay. So as I'm looking at my paper, on this side and on this side, it's the same box that keeps being circled in different areas. And this box is connected into Carrie. So can I
Oh, yes.
can I just hurry and bring this in for you? Because this is the stinky socks. And if I did not bring him forward, I know your brother's passed, but if I didn't bring him forward, he would be mad at me all night. Like, come on, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you share this? And I see him wanting to just let you know that he's free and that there's a lot of freedom on the other side. And he says the past few days it's been like this energy welling up inside of you again, and you wanting to fix it for everybody else. But I see him saying you need to fix it. Not you need to, but it's okay to allow yourself to feel it instead of you have to show up and be big for everybody else. It's okay to feel the grief, but you don't have to take the grief away from anybody else. It's yours to feel. And I see him go like this and like wave his stinky socks and just be like that he's still here, and his like personality and that love and that like teasing space is still there. But I see him wanting to say that this week has been hard, and he wants you to know that like he's aware of that, but he's also at peace is what he wants you to know. And he says that you know that, but like hearing his words say that, like he has been here this whole time. And I was like, who are you for? And then every time I keep circling the same bubble, and he's like, you have to share this now. Just letting you know that. And his personality is bigger than ever. Like so bright, so brilliant, so fun. And it just shows that it doesn't mean that he's happy he's gone, or that he's happy to have left the family in this heaviness. It just means that his spirit is growing, and he wants you to know that he's a different person than who he was when he passed. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Have you been feeling like kind of that tension in your chest the past couple of days?
Yeah, just so sad. Just feeling that sadness again. just missing him and just feeling like I missed out on a lot. I was losing him so early in life, but it's good. It's a good reminder that he's always here. He's always with me, watching my kids and playing with us and playing with me. And I just have to like breathe with that and get into that because he talks to me and oh,
It's just a reminder, just
Yeah.
a friendly little stinky gesture. And if you start smelling like something that stinks, like a boy who just like went and worked out or whatever, like if you start smelling that, that would be him letting you know that he's around. And I'm like, can you pick something better? He's like, no, this is me right now. So I'm gonna honor that.
yeah, that's funny. I actually smelled like really stinky in my room, and I'm like, I just cleaned this room this morning before you even brought up the stinky socks. I'm like, I went and put lavender on because I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, it's been here all night.
Buddy. Well,
So
thank you.
he's definitely here, and he wants to let you know that he loves you. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, Candace, go ahead. I'll turn the time to you. If I didn't say something, I would smell that all night long.
Yes. Yeah. So now I think that it'd be great if, if anyone would like to raise their hand to the screen if they have a question or something that they would like to.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I know there was a lot. We went a couple hours, which can be a lot of stuff.
I know. We always do that, Jen. We're like, okay, we're just going to do an hour. And then it's always double. It's always double.
Good. I think a lot came through. And so, of
Yes.
course, if you guys have questions or anything, please feel free to reach out. You know, we're here just to be a support and anything like that. I highly recommend if you're drawn to working with Candace at all. Like, oh my gosh, it
Jen.
changed my life, night and day difference. And so, like, just do it. Just don't think about it, just do it. That's what I feel. But as we said, we do have a podcast too, which is also really great information. We're constantly doing new things. This last week was like my favorite episode ever.
That was fun.
We talked about the witch wound and how we all are affected by this shame, this guilt of like it's not safe to move forward from the past where people were persecuted and killed. And oh, it's just so good.
Holds
So,
us back from our gifts of spirit and our power. Yes, that was really fun.
yeah.
But also too, we have a gifts of spirit class coming up November 11th, 12th, and 13th. We're going to do a live intensive workshop
Mhm.
in Murray where we focus 3 days on gifts of spirit. So all the clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance. And then we're also going to explore psychometry, which is when you feel things and you pick up information by holding an object. We'll be exploring remote viewing. And we're going to also be practicing channeling and mediumship. So if this is something that you want to dive into and go deeper, reach out to us. And where can they, I think we're posting on that information on Instagram, right?
I haven't posted anything, but I was thinking about it either tonight or tomorrow.
Tonight or tomorrow, you'll see it. And then that will link you up to a form, a sign up form, and then we'll put you in the class. So anyway, we're super excited. And should we give them any other contact information to reach out to us, Jen,
I think that
if they want to?
I just think finding us online or whatever, because obviously they've connected to one of us or the other to be here tonight. So, you know, if you go to my Facebook page, if you're friends with me, you can add Candace and vice versa.
And we have the Modern Sages on Facebook. So we have Facebook and Instagram and the YouTube channel. And there's ways to get a hold of us.
We're getting everywhere. We're doing all the things. It's
We're
just
trying to put ourselves out there so you can connect for sure.
Well,
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Hope you have a great night. Thank you for your time and everything like that. We just love you.
Blessings, sisters. Big hug. Hopefully this spoke, some part of this reading for both of us spoke to part of you that needed to hear that tonight.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
you
you
can take
so
something
much.
away.
Thank you so much for listening to this live group reading. I hope that it brought you some inspiration, it gave you some guidance, some answers on how you can apply this to your own space. There are so many amazing messages that come through Our ancestors are here, our guides are here. We are here to fully live and to fully be successful in this life. And I hope that you receive some kind of answer, some sort of information when it comes to that. We would love for you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, as well as subscribe to our podcast, because there is so much good stuff going on. And this is just the beginning of a lot of amazing messages and a lot of great connection and activities. Thank you.